Hi, my name's Maureen Kingori, and I'm a incoming second-year dental student. And I thought I would do a video to kind of give, sorry, my dog, to kind of give my top 10 tips and tricks, not tricks, but just tips to get into dental school for people that want to be dentists or people that are thinking about applying for dental school. So let's get started. So the first thing is, try to pick a major that can benefit you, and also stay on top of the school requirements for whatever school you decide to apply for. So the DAT, which is the dental admissions test, it's a test that you have to take to get into dental school. This test is majority sciences. So I was a biology major, so because of that, I was able to really hone in on my science skills and really master a lot of subjects, and that ultimately helped me with the exam, and it helped me get a good score. But if you don't major in a science, then you still have to make sure that you take the proper courses in sciences to prepare you for the test. So if you're an art major, if you're a psychology major, make sure that you take, or any other major non-science, make sure that you take science courses, because honestly, dental school is science, unfortunately. So you have to master it, and you have to kind of know what you're doing. And plus you have to take the DAT no matter what major you are. And I've just noticed, like, when you're a science major, it's a lot more beneficial. Not that you have to be, because there's people that weren't science majors in my class, but it definitely, I feel like a majority of us were, and it definitely helps when it comes to once you're in dental school and also applying. Another thing with this first tip is that make sure that you know what school you're applying to before you begin the application process. So if you're like a freshman or a sophomore, pick like your top 5, top 6, whatever, schools that you are interested in applying to. Write down the classes that they require for application. So because the requirements for every school is always changing, they're always getting more competitive and adding classes, and you don't want to be, you know, a senior and you want to apply to this school, but you just realize you need to take 2 more classes that they just added because you weren't following up with the requirements as you were going through your education. So that's one thing I recommend, is the sooner you know what schools you want to apply to, the better. That way you can stay on top of the requirements for each school, because that will dictate where you can apply. So that's tip number 1. Pick a good major, and along with that, make sure that you know which schools you're hoping to apply to, and you know their requirements, because every school is different. Like, I applied to one school, and they sent me back a letter saying, you're missing this class, and I was like, what? Like, they literally changed it, I think, like a year before I applied. So I thought I was good because I had stayed on top of it. But they changed it, and the new cycle of applicants had to have it. So a lot of people were like, didn't meet the requirements even to apply. So just, that's one, you know, something really, really important to be mindful of as you go through your undergrad. Know the requirements of the school, because it's not something you want to be a last minute thing. You know, like, oh, what are the requirements? Oh, I can't go there. You want to have as many options as possible. So my second tip, and it's kind of obvious, is, you know, to get good grades. And not necessarily you have to be an A++ all around perfect student, but at the end of the day, it's a competitive graduate program, so you want to get good grades. So with that being said, go to tutoring if you need it. Stay after school and go to office hours if you need it. Spend a few extra hours studying things you don't understand. Really try to get good grades. And like I said, you don't have to be, you know, A's in everything, but you really want to be competitive with your GPA, and you really want to be competitive, you know, academically. So that's one thing I would say. And with that being said, like, some of us aren't always going to be the perfect A++ student, because we may be involved in things. So if you're not getting good grades, perfect grades, I'm not going to say good. I mean, you want good grades, but if you're not getting perfect grades, like perfect A's, but you travel around the world doing missions, and you do this and you do that, and you still have good grades, and, you know, I'm talking good grades as in a 3.6 and plus, then you know schools look into that. I know a few people that had like almost 4.0s in undergrad, but they did nothing. They didn't participate in anything. They would just literally go to their rooms and study and go home. So that's something dental schools don't really look, I mean, they don't want someone that's just all school. Dentistry is a very personable, interactive career. You're meeting people every day, you're talking to people, and you can't be someone that's just all about the books, because that's not dentistry. Dentistry is not just studying. Dentistry, the field of dentistry is more, it's really encompassing. So that's my recommendation. Make sure you're getting good grades, 3.6 and higher, and it gets competitive depending on the school. So whatever school you want to apply to, look at their requirements and really try to get as close. Look at their average GPA acceptance and try to get as close as you can to that. But also understand that there's a lot of other factors that go into your application besides your GPA. They look at a lot of things. They look at your interview, they look at community involvement, they look at leadership. It's a lot. But at the end of the day, that's one thing that is going to show how well you can handle the course load in dental school is grades. So make sure you're really putting in the work in grades, because that's ultimately going to kind of be the determinant on how you'll do. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, I kind of talked about this, is get involved. Get involved in your community. Get involved in organizations that you believe in. So this could be if you're an athlete, school sports, if you believe in service, school service, or serving those around in your community, get involved in those organizations. If there's a pre-dental or a science group or anything in your major that you're passionate about, get involved. That's one thing that dental schools really look highly of, people that are very well-rounded.